Art is the purest form of expression. It is the language we speak when words are no longer enough. For centuries, it has been how we capture the invisible, the mirror of our dreams, and the echo of our deepest thoughts. It began with a stroke of color on a canvas to see through someone else's eyes and grows into the silent power of the stone structures we inhabit. It breathes through the melody that connects our heartbeats and lives in the fleeting grace of a body in motion on a stage. For centuries, these have been the mirrors of our soul, our sanctuary, and sometimes our weapon. But history teaches us that every new frontier of creation faces the same wall of skepticism. Photography was once called a mere technical trick, and cinema was dismissed as a distraction for the masses. Today, we're at the apogee of a new medium, a convergence of every art form that came before it, but it adds a dimension we've never seen before. Here, the story, the message doesn't just happen to you. It happens because of you. Every step you take, every choice you make, breathe life into the world. You're no longer just a witness to the beauty, you are the one who makes it exist. We are now standing at the heart of a new debate. We wonder if these digital landscapes, built from code and light, carry the same heart as the masterpieces of the past. To understand if a video game can be art, we first have to ask the question that has haunted thinkers for centuries: what actually is art? The truth is, there isn't one single frozen definition. Art is alive. It evolves with us, and what we called art 500 years ago is radically different from what we celebrate in galleries today. But to make sense of it, we can look at it through three fundamental lenses. First, there's the mastery, the ars. Originally, the word art comes from the Latin ars, which means skill or craft. Back then, there was no wall between an artist and a craftsman. To be an artist meant you had a master-level command of a technique. It was about the power to transform raw matter, tone, sound, language, into something that didn't exist before. But as time passed, the definition shifted from the hand to the heart. It wasn't just about how you made something, but why you made it. Art became a language, a subjective translation of the world. Through their work, the artist shares a unique vision, trying to trigger something in you. It could be shock, reflection, or simple aesthetic pleasure. But paradoxically, even though art is deeply personal, it aims for the universal. It touches the things we all share, our fears, our loves, and our mortality. It is a bridge between one soul and another. And finally, there's the question of the purpose. This is where we distinguish art from everything else in our daily lives. Think about a hammer or a chair. They have a clear, practical job to do. They are tools. But a masterpiece, it doesn't have a function in the material world. Its only purpose is to be a space for contemplation and analysis. It exists to be experienced for its own sake, inviting us to find our own meaning in its complexity. It is not a tool to be used, but a mirror to be explored. So, what sets art apart? It's intentional, it's a conscious human choice, it cannot be a natural accident like a sunset as beautiful and expressive as it seems. It transcends utility, it exists to be experienced, not just used. And it's complex. A successful piece of art doesn't give you one single straight answer. It opens a door for discussion. Ultimately, art is the mirror that humanity holds up to itself to try and make sense of its own existence. Before we go any further, we have to address a major misunderstanding in this debate. Usually, when someone tries to prove that video games are art, they reach for what I call the art gallery trap. They point at the writing of Detroit Become Human or the breathtaking art direction of Clarobscur Expedition 33. They'll talk about the motion capture and professional acting in Death Stranding, or the sweeping orchestral scores of Final Fantasy. But there's a flaw in that logic. If we only defend games because they look like movies or sound like operas, We're essentially saying that video games are just digital containers for other arts. If you strip away what comes from other art forms, the models, the textures, the music, what is left? To find the true soul of the medium, we have to look beyond the surface. We need to explore what the game itself creates. And that brings us back to our three lenses. When we talked about the arts, the mastery of the tool, we were talking about transforming raw matter. In gaming, that matter isn't stone or paint. It is the programming and the invisible laws that structure our experience. It is the craft of shaping rules, physics, and space to evoke a specific feeling. Think about the obsessive level of detail in Red Dead Redemption 2. It's not just about the graphics, it's about the techne of a living simulation. The way the snow deforms under your feet, the way the ecosystem reacts to your presence. These are pure technical skills, feats that in a way demand a respect similar to the architecture of a cathedral or the conception of an orchestral score. But mastery also hides in the thing you feel rather than the things you see. It's in the surgical precision of combat in Elden Ring, where every frame of animation is a calculated choice. The exact timing of a roll, a jump or a strike is coded to an insane level of detail to create a refined, satisfying game feel. We see the same mastery in the flawless weight of a jump in a Mario game. That maneuverability and precision aren't accidental, it is the essential core of the craft. Then, there's the architecture of the world itself. Look at the interconnected map of Dark Souls or Hollow Knight. This is not just level design in a way a cartographer makes a map, it is the art of sculpting human behavior. They predict how you will move, where you will look for secrets, and how you're going to struggle. They are not just making a world, they are making you a part of its rhythm. And that leads us to the real core of my argument, the heart. In every other medium, the artist uses a brush, a pen, or a camera. In a video game, the artist uses your interactivity. And interactivity isn't just a fun feature. I'm not talking about the simple responsiveness of pushing a button. I'm talking about the fact that you are the one deciding, testing, and experiencing. Take The Last of Us Part 2. We've seen violence in movies 1,000 times, to the point where it barely shocks us anymore. But when you're the one holding the controller, when you're the one forced to commit an act of brutal, realistic violence to survive, it feels heavy. It's tearing you apart because guilt isn't just something you observe, it's something you own. Cinema or literature can show you pain, but only a game can make you feel responsible for it. In a film, you cry for the character. In a game, you cry for what you have done. Another great example of how video game can convey a message that any other medium could not in the same expanse is Breath of the Wild. In that game, you explore a colossal world full of life and direct interactivity, in the Ars-like way, if you could say so. Everything reacts logically to the things you do, the physics are coherent, but that's not the reason it became my favorite game. In Breath of the Wild, you explore a vast post-war kingdom, clueless and all by yourself. The story isn't told by cinematics and dialogue. I mean, it is for some part of the story, but not for the main experience. You discover the tragedy of the Great Calamity by exploring ruined settlements, abandoned battlefields, and towns in reconstruction. Here, the message is conveyed through exploration, and the discovery is what makes you understand the world. And some games are much more open on what feeling and which message they want to convey. Take Minecraft. I'm sure this game is important for many of you, and beside the fun memories you had playing it with your friends back in the day, I'm pretty sure that you have some very specific feelings about that game, often linked to the nostalgia of discovering it younger. Entering a huge, boundless world, not knowing what to do, the possibilities that the game gives you, discovering new crafts, new biome full of never-seen blocks. And if we plunge even deeper, it can evoke that feeling of loneliness in a world so big yet so empty. Or maybe even an unsettling mood, the impression of being watched in a forest during a storm, or in a dark cave well past bedtime. Minecraft is in appearance a simple game, but through the way we approach it, it happens to deliver a vast spectrum of ideas and atmosphere. And sometimes by digging deep into your fears, your passions, your emotions. One of my favorite experiences in that regard was found in Subnautica. No books or films could have truly replicated that specific primal dread of descending into a dark, unknown abyss, stressed about what you will encounter and what you might lose. but also what you could learn and obtain. The fear of the unknown coupled with the feeling of the need of discovery, of answers, much like the explorer of the past going on a dangerous, mysterious journey. But this was my experience. Maybe for you, the main emotions you felt was the pure terror of the ocean, of the creatures that lives in it, the unease of the moving plants and distant growl. And I'm sure that it awakened in some the fear of isolation or created homesickness. And others, in contrast, might have been amazed by the sheer beauty of the ocean, the sense of wonder of seeing new animals and new biomes, or even felt a calm sense of meditation while lingering in the wilderness. Or maybe it was more the thrill to actively try to survive, make a functioning base, optimize your resources. Video games reflect what's hidden deep inside of you. They transmit a message, and we, as players, give that message its final shape. Finally, we have to ask, does the game transcend its utility? Is it just a toy, or does it become a mirror of our existence? Think about failure in Elden Ring or Silksong, dying, losing everything, and trying again over and over. In many other contexts, this would be a waste of time. But here, it becomes a lesson in perseverance. It mirrors our real-life struggles, the frustration of failure, and the growth that comes from learning. Interestingly, the lesson I learned from these two games wasn't just about persisting. It was more about knowing when to take a break. It taught me that I wasn't forced to bash my head against a wall, that going elsewhere to level up, gain stronger abilities, or simply learn new skills was a valid way to handle a struggle. This mirror is even clearer in multiplayer. Games like We Were Here or It Takes Two excel in this regard. You simply cannot advance if you refuse to communicate. My time playing Overcooked with my brother is a perfect example. Even though we know each other perfectly, the game creates such high-stakes tension that it becomes a struggle not to crash out, and it reveals how we handle stress and cooperation. And sometimes cooperation is intertwined with conflict, as it often happens in real life. In Mario 3D World, the crown system forces a balance between helping each other to complete stages and not losing all your lives, and competing for the crown. In a way, I truly believe that it says something about our social nature. But perhaps the most obvious face of that mirror is found in competitive gaming. In a game like Counter-Strike or Fortnite, the game becomes a stage for you to express your performance, your reflexes, or your precision. It isn't just about winning, it is about the pursuit of human perfection. And when you play in a team with unknowns who sometimes don't even speak your language, you need to develop a wordless intuition. You learn to read their movements, to trust their intention, and sometimes to sacrifice your own glory for a shared goal. Competitive gaming mirrors the oldest human traditions, the discipline of the athlete and the synchronization of the dancer. It turns a struggle for digital dominance into a profound study of human ego, resilience, and the will to surpass oneself. Video games are the ultimate encounter. It's a two-way street where you're not just contemplating a finished work from a distance. You're a vital collaborator of its existence. Without the player, the work is dead, nothing more than a silent ghost in a machine. So, is video game an art form? In my eyes, the answer is a definitive yes. It fulfills every criterion we've established, mastery, expression and purpose, but it pushes them further by making your own agency the final, essential ingredient. It takes the traditional pillars of art and brings them to life through your movements and your choices. It is the mirror that doesn't just show us who we are, but what we are capable of doing. Hey, so if you're there, that means you watched the video till the end, and I thank you for that. I've been wanting to make a video on that topic for a long time, so I hope it turned out great. Feel free to leave any feedbacks in the comments, that will be really appreciated. And if you enjoyed the video, just leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you soon.